Hey there, Krusty Crew. So, yesterday in treatment, it was kind of an emotional day, and then I went to an NA meeting because when you're emotional, sometimes it's a good idea to, go to meetings and keep yourself from making a bad choice. And there's a statement that I made that really stuck with some of the people, and I want to kind of talk about it a little bit today. So what's on my mind? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, then it creates a monster. I like my softness. I like my kind soul. I like my heart, my giving personality. But when I was using, especially there towards the end, when I was really on my own and living for myself, I became a real big hard ass, and I really was selfish. It was only me I had to worry about. I worried when I'd get my next fix. I didn't care who I hurt, who I ripped off, what I did. I'm not proud of this at all, but as someone who's always been very emotionally weak, it did make me stronger, but it created a monster. Now as I go through sobriety and everything else, I feel weak. Not just in the sense of being soft again, but before, when I'd walk into a room or a situation, I knew I could handle anything, and I was the biggest badass on the block. Now when I walk into situations, sometimes I don't even know how to carry myself, how to act. I tend to embarrass myself a lot because I still have no filter. In fact, it's gotten worse. And I miss that sense of, I'm a monster. I'm a hard ass. I can handle anything you have to throw at me. And I need to figure out this way to integrate being that monstrous personality of knowing I can handle anything with this soft, kind weakness that I have now. I'm having a hard time with it because it's a really rough concept for me. When I was younger, I was always the very emotional person. I cried a lot when I was a kid, even through, my teenage years. And then when I started using very heavily, even before I started using pretty heavily, as I was just kind of partying, I never cried. I never showed emotion in that sense. I could show happiness, but I could never show anger or frustration or hurt. And I know that crying is okay. It's a perfectly normal human emotion, and it's an appropriate response to a lot of things, but I still have the hardest time doing it. Yesterday in treatment, one of the worksheets we worked on brought up a lot of negative emotions for me. So I shed a couple tears, and I felt so small, and I felt so weak, but luckily I have a really awesome group. One of the girls in there, she's like, are you okay? My teacher of the group, she, tell us what's going through your head right now. Share these emotions. It's okay. And that's something I have to integrate. Being weak when it's appropriate, but still carrying the strength of knowing how strong I am and what I've done. It's a crazy world out here, and learning how to reintegrate emotions is really hard. I don't want to be a monster anymore, but I definitely don't want to feel like I'm weak all the time. So, this is my little, what's on my mind. I don't want to be a monster, but I don't want to be a softie. I don't know, maybe you guys understand a little bit or have some sort of advice. I like advice. I'll take it. They say advice is taking the past and painting over the ugly parts and selling it for more than it's worth. So, sell me your past. I love you guys. Thanks for listening.